To preface this review, before last night, I never watched any of the Mad Max trilogy from way back decades ago. Now, bringing up last night, I did try to start watching the very first Mad Max film, and honestly, 25 minutes into it, I started meandering around and doing other stuff like making food and everything. It didn't really grip me. I'm not really a super old, campy type of film watcher. The oldest I can do is like Scarface, and that's because that's actually thrilling. Now, I did watch Mad Max Fury Road back in 2015, and it's a great film. I love that film. Now, even though I have nothing but praises to say about that film, there was always something missing in Mad Max Fury Road. It's a great film. It's super well done. It's super well written, super well directed. The editing and cinematography, superb. But there was just always some type of thrill missing in Fury Road by like the halfway point to the end that kind of felt less exciting than the beginning of Fury Road. Now, almost 10 years later, we get the prequel Mad Max film, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, which is set around the character Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road, and it's literally a lead up to Mad Max Fury Road by the end of the film. The one thing I have to say about Fury Road and Furiosa, and this could be considered a good and or bad thing, why is it that the supporting actors are always the best actors in these two films? Like, for example, Fury Road was Tom Hardy's film, but Charlize Theron, who played Furiosa, absolutely killed her acting job in that film, more so than anybody else. But then here in Furiosa, where Furiosa is played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who does a phenomenal job, don't get me wrong, great actress overall, but Chris Hemsworth playing as Dementus absolutely steals the spotlight every scene that Chris Hemsworth is in. And honestly, Chris Hemsworth is an excellent actor. I would say his worst acting comes from when he plays Thor. And that's just because he plays Thor because he just has the physique for it. Otherwise, Thor isn't really a character at all. But Chris Hemsworth has been in other things, such as The Cabin in the Woods, which I liked The Cabin in the Woods. I liked what they did with his character at the very beginning, but I didn't like that throughout the film they just turned him into cliche jock. But he still handled it super well. Chris Hemsworth is a really good actor. And in Furiosa, he absolutely killed his spot in that film. Anya Taylor-Joy did a great job as Furiosa as well. I'm not condemning or dissing anybody's acting in Furiosa. But Chris Hemsworth nailed his villain. He killed it. He blew it all out of the water. Now with Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, as a film overall, I absolutely loved this film. It's even longer than Fury Road, and that feeling of a thrilling missing thing from Fury Road, that feeling is not in Furiosa. Furiosa has it all. This is a prequel film that also serves as a huge world-building phenomenon before Fury Road. This isn't just set about Furiosa and her lead-up into the character that becomes Furiosa in Fury Road. This film is superbly well written and even better directed. The filming of this, there's like no quick shots, and I love that. I love when it's just a one-shot kind of film or scene. You know, True Detective's very fourth episode did that before, and I loved it. And there are a lot of those shots in Furiosa. And honestly, I didn't really see many quick shots in this film. If there were, they weren't jarring at all. The Strangers Chapter 1's intro had a huge jarring quick shot sequence in its intro, and it was just so jarring and just so off-putting. I hated it. But in Furiosa, if there were quick shots, I didn't see any. But if there were, they meshed super well with the film. Now the film is about Furiosa and her entire life. And in doing so, because her life spans from this part of the world all the way to this part of the world, you learn even more about the world of what they set up in Fury Road. And I loved that aspect of this story because it's centered around Furiosa, but it's built within an actual lived-in world. And honestly, the world is even more lived in Furiosa than it is Fury Road, because you don't just meet Immortan Joe's gang and Mad Max. This film, you actually meet all different kind of continents in the world. You meet Furiosa, Immortan Joe, Dementis, other fortresses. And I loved it because this film feels like a fully lived-in world and fully realized. And this is just superbly well written, superbly directed. I honestly love this film. And 2024 is really gearing up at this point to be a phenomenal year for film. Because overall, I think this is like the third or fourth film in 2024 I can gladly say is a 10 out of 10. Furiosa's editing, the color palette and everything, for the most part, looks exactly like Fury Road, except the intro scene, or the intro first chapter, where it's set in the motherlands, or whatever, the green mother continent, or whatever it is, where it's a lot more lively looking, a lot more green. But then after that sequence, you get the Fury Road kind of color palettes, and it all looks beautiful. Everything about Furiosa is beautiful, and that's why I give this film another 10 out of 10. I think this is at least my third film in 2024 that I've already given a 10 out of 10. I'm loving this year for film. I love it so much. Keep this shit coming. Furiosa on its own is an excellent film. Tied together with Fury Road makes perfect sense. And honestly, what I love the most about it is you can actually watch this film before Fury Road, get into Fury Road, and it makes sense and nothing is spoiled. Now also, there are actually Easter eggs in this film that reference Fury Road, not even just like lines of dialogue or anything, like literal scenes. Not exactly taken from Fury Road, but recreated and with slight tweaks to where you can tell exactly what it is. But there are slight tweaks, and I loved it so much. So yeah, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, excellent standalone film, even greater prequel, best world-building film for this new series. So 10 out of 10, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Thank you.